Two fierce competitors ready to slash, smash, and clash? Let's see what they've got for us, because they're opening up with a little bit of Roos on Roos. That's right, straight into it, and it's already a mirror matchup. How did we get to this? I thought the goal here was to avoid mirror matchups, to be off meta, but apparently they are off meta together. The Roos do seem like a really popular pick here. I'm kind of surprised they were allowed through on Dry Arabia. But this all comes back to the fact that everyone has been over-prioritizing the ban of Delhi. In fact, for those that aren't quite familiar with the way this works, round 2, the off-meta combat round, what happened is all 64 players got to vote on their 3 most popular civs per map available in the rotation. Those civs were then banned from pick. On top of that, each player could stop their opponent from picking one other civ, meaning that each player had 4 civs available to them. The wacky part that occurred here is the Mongols got banned out on 4 of the 7 maps. But bigger than that, the Delhi got banned out on 6 of the 7 maps, only being allowed on Boulder Bay, so you're never going to see them here on Dry Arabia. And when you look beyond that at the other bans to this map, the Abbasids and the Mongols, now you start to understand why the Rus is so popular. It's got to be the Rus or the French. In fact, can we just pause in our brain for a second and think about that? How is it that in the off-meta combat, where we're meant to ban the most popular civs, the French did not get banned from Dry Arabia? That is nuts to me. You know what? We don't have to focus on that. Instead, we can focus on the Rus and Rus engagement here on a Dry Arabia that is very desirable for Rus because of the location of these boars. Both of them are situated in the inner zone, right? Like if you took the size of the map and then you shrunk it by 50%, the boars would still be inside it. And both of them are next to tree line. This one especially is very lucrative. In fact, this is a juicy one here. This has to be, if you drop a hunter cabin right here as the Roost, you're probably going to get about, what, 25, 30? Because remember, the Roost, the way it works is your hunter cabin generates gold passively every minute, depending on how many trees are nearby. So, kind of looks like RecoN got the jackpot. BruH, he still has some value over here, but I think pulling the board to this double tree line might de-aggro it slightly. We'll just have to see if they play into that anyway. Opening up, we do have to focus on the bounty system, right? Because they're both going at it. They are both neck and neck, already achieving 200, so nobody really getting left in the dust. It's what we like to see. Because often when you do see a person maybe stuck at 100 bounty, one up 400, almost feels like they're getting ready to call GG. It's a very oppressive state in a mirror matchup. When the smallest difference really does change everything, having that much of an extra influx of gold over your opponent is huge. Because say they got 100 and you've got 300 extra, well, they can afford their tech up, but they're going to struggle to actually afford any techs after that. Not to mention the fact that usually you want to get willpower before you go up. So if you start with 100 gold and you only get 100 after, you can't afford willpower plus teching up unless you then go onto a mining camp, which is a big loss. Because if you think of the idle time running over, the cost of 50 extra wood, the villagers shifted to the gold line instead of working with food and wood, and how that affects your opening, you can see how critical bounty is to the success of Rus. And that's why even if you play as the Abbasids, the Delhi, a civ that doesn't actually care about sheep, usually wouldn't go to a second scout, you should be doing that against the Rus because it eliminates so much the early game advantage. Here we go. Tech up underway. RecoN did start quicker, and he shifts 5 people over. He seems oddly paranoid about the state of this. Does need to club 2 of these sheep to get the better gathering rates. It might be worth it, actually, just for the one idle villager for a sec. It's kind of a small difference, but it definitely adds up, especially in conjunction with the gold, probably adding 2 or 3 extra gold per minute. But for now, wheelbarrow underway on both sides, and it looks like BruH is going to be ahead on the wheelbarrow, so that's interesting. Notice a difference in prioritization here. BruH does go for the slower tech up, but he accesses wheelbarrow a little bit faster than his opponent, and you can see that they had similar bounty numbers, so this was simply like a difference of choice. They knew they were going to get the required quantity, it's just what they wanted to prioritize first. At the end of that, I feel like it's slightly advantageous to BruH. To RecoN, rather. If we look at the numbers, like RecoN, I feel like he's going to be more padded, yeah, towards his wooden fortress. You can already see on the wood numbers. So I'm looking at what BruH has on his wood, and yeah, it's because he idled for a while. He did go for the wooden fortress already. Meanwhile, RecoN, he's actually not going into the wood production. Instead, he's going to go to the stable, which will give him mid-map control. This is interesting. RecoN, it looks like he does have the option to move towards the boar with this type of opening. Meanwhile, when I look at BruH's opening, this seems a lot more retracted. If he does choose to go towards the ball, it'll be around the 6 to 7 minute mark, whereas RecoN could access that area of the map about 5.5 to 6 minutes in. But as it stands right now, with the scouts here, it's not going to be able to do so. And tech up complete, and look at that from BruH straight away. Oh, that is so frustrating. He spotted the weakness of what RecoN had done here. RecoN doing something almost taboo in the past for the Rus. He goes on to the gold. Now, why is this important? Well, it weakens your economy in the food and wood department when you're stronger. It shows your intent to likely go into knights. And then also, it allows your opponent to do this. You can't gather when they attack you like this. It's almost impossible. And the reason BruH waited until the tech up came through is there's a ruling right now in the Golden League that prevents you from attacking your opponent's villages with scouts on their starting resource lines. That means this gold line, this wood line, and this berry line, as well as the stone, he wouldn't be able to attack until they both had gone up into feudal. And you can see, like, he was trying to manipulate that rule. BruH was like, I'm going to stretch this one a little bit thin. I'm just going to wait here because I know you're teching up because I scouted out. The moment you complete it, that's when I'm going to poke and prod. Luckily for RecoN, he was quick off the mark to get into the knights. And now look at this. RecoN shifting over. Did he go? But he's going pro scouts. So is this the ball play? This might be the ball play with 4 people. No. What? Okay, this is wacky. So RecoN is going for pro scouts despite the fact that he's now playing pocket economy onto the deer. Meanwhile, BruH is simply going to be playing pro scouts. Now, the interesting part in theory for RecoN is he should be able to access this deer line and then send his pro scouts elsewhere. My issue, however, is unless you put any defenses here, there's nothing necessary to stop BruH from coming over and yoinking these carcasses. In theory, with 7 people here, he should extract them quick enough. But it does come down to the fact, does BruH want to go for his safe deer first, or does he want to ride over to his opponent's side of the map? The second choice being more popular in the past with the pro scouts, but has diminished in value ever since they nerfed the scouts so they move at 1.1 movement speed when carrying a carcass. With the racks there, it feels like RecoN is playing quite a safe style. He actually goes for the Holy Trinity. So he gets the racks, the archery range, and the stables. So he can knee-jerk react to anything that BruH does. BruH, as it currently stands, is going hard in the archers, though. This is a little bit more standardized for the Rus. You expect the double archery range, triple archery range, and usually complemented by the stables. But neither of them went for that exact build. It's kind of surprising to see that BruH went into the racks, but he did already see the knights, right? However, usually the response that comes out from an opponent in a Rus from Rus mirror right now when they see their opponent has knights is they go knights as well. It seems like BruH is trying to do everything he can, though, to alleviate any requirement to go on gold. Understanding that that's now an edge he has over RecoN, who has 5 people working on the gold line. There we go, RecoN. Even though he's got pro scouts, I love what he's doing here. This is incredibly underrated. So he could be picking up these carcasses, right? Because he did get the pro scout. Wait, oh no, he didn't. I'm an idiot. This makes more sense now. Apologies for that, folks. It's because I was keeping an eye on the little left indicators. I saw the bar, and obviously pro scouts and the increased gathering rate on game do look kind of familiar when you give it a quick glance. So this makes more sense then. So he's going to use the scouts on scouting expedition. What I was going to originally highlight is something that he was going to be doing, which I feel like some players going pro scouts could be doing, is they could pull 1 or 2 scouts to keep vision on their opponents and then use the rest to gather up carcasses. But of course, in this situation, RecoN doesn't have that option, so he just shifts all into the front to keep an eyeball on what's coming. And he's also delaying BruH. In the meantime, BruH trying to deal with the knights, can't do so though. Archers come out and BruH is not ready. He's just sitting back in base. And that means that he's going to struggle to get the additional carcasses up. I think he has got enough sitting underneath his TC for the moment to float him for a bit longer. But he does need to come out soon. Well, that's happening. You see that RecoN, he's already ramping up. Double archery range here. So goes Holy Trinity, then pads his archer battalion. BruH has gone heavier into that. It's 3 archery ranges and 1 racks. The issue, however, is he can't afford to have these spears picked off like he was. If that occurs, it means you never have the critical mass of spears to hold back the knights, and the knights will be the difference maker if they get onto your squishy back line. And look at this. I just love how good people have got at doing this. It's so important, right? I think people have started to identify just how good scouts are compared to other games. Right, imagine games like StarCraft where it's maybe a lot easier to react to your opponent's scouting probe or whatever worker at like the 4 or 5 minute mark. When you think about this game, it's very different. Unless your opponent specifically goes for horsemen, they don't have a good way of killing your scout, which means you can be more manipulative about where you position him. You can be a little bit more greedy, gathering more info. And something I have noted of the players, especially it seems in the last 3 to 4 weeks, is they have rapidly increased the rate at which they early and mid scout. Especially the Age of Empires players, right? Like we talked for a long time about how the Craft boys were really good at it. It's almost like we were fanboying them. Now, the Age of players have caught up, and it really is making the difference. You're seeing that the power ranking between these two groups of people has shrunk immensely, and I think a big detail in it really does come down to the ability to maintain vision of your opponent's base and see what they're going to do next. And that gives you appropriate time to react, right? If you see what they're doing in their own base, if they start to pivot into archers hard, you now have the run of the map to react to that. In fact, you have more than that because there's no way they're instantly going to push across the map with just one archer revealed. RecoN needs to be a little bit careful. He's slightly outnumbered. The spears, however, oh, bruh. Wow, this is posturing. This is the most posturing I've seen out of BruH in a while. This is so dangerous what he's doing here. The spears were AFK. They weren't with him at first. And it meant that RecoN, if he had that info, if he had a scout in position, he probably could have rushed the archer line before the spearman could have arrived to back him up. So BruH needs to be a little bit careful. He is tempting fate here. Gathering a lot of carcasses in the meantime. And it is going to be a shift in the stables now. And there's no info on this. RecoN, he hasn't really moved his vision. He's kept it very much locked in its locations. Kind of surprising, but also understandable. Like this scout on the right side, there's no stealth forest you can move to. The only reason he's so parked on the south and west side is because BruH has no intent of going there. Because his army is static, if he shifts them to the backside, he forfeits ground naturally to RecoN. And you can see what RecoN wants to do with that ground. He's trying to drop wooden fortresses in the center. Double blacksmith as well is quite surprising out of RecoN. So when you go double blacksmith like this, it's going to give you a tech advantage, right? Because you can double up on the amount of techs your opponent is doing if you both go blacksmith at the same time. The weakness, however, is if you don't use that advantage as soon as it arrives, it just feels like a wasted investment of 150 wood. It does scale for a later timing, but it means, like, what could you have been doing with this 150 wood instead? You could have got a few extra units, basically could have got a wooded fortress. There's plenty you could have been doing instead. BruH right now, what he's looking to do is take an emphatic victory in the center, pushes through. Stone outcropping is problematic there, though, and it will cost him his scout. BruH. Well, he does outnumber RecoN, but RecoN kind of has that qualitative element, right, with this many knights. Raiding on the side isn't going to be effective, though. Nice reaction by RecoN. Gets across just in time to prevent any of his villagers going down. That ensures that he keeps that villager lead. 3 up now over BruH. Even more knights coming. And BruH needs to be careful about his positioning here. He could get wrapped on if he goes too deep. That's where these stealth forests are very dangerous. That's why he pulls another scout to the front. You really do need to play scouts when you've got proxy like areas of vision denial here, right? Like when you've got all these tiny forests, it seems so inconsequential, but if we were to optimally stack, how many troops could we fit in here that you couldn't see? That's before we consider you can't see to the other side. So if they're on the direct opposite side to the stealth forest than you, they could have an army twice as large as the forest itself, and you wouldn't know. Archers being baited out. Knights looking to engage. Scout gets baited out of position there. Will be lost. Now the Knights trying to wrap around the side. Spears being baited to the front line. Trades coming out. RecoN having to prioritize those spearmen and force them further back. And Knights hesitant to engage. They're never getting their full clash off. But after that, BruH is definitely trailing now. You can see it. RecoN taking the military lead, having that quality factor of the Knights as well. The spearmen, they're just starting to fall alongside the archers. The archers just cannot match this right now. And BruH, he wasn't even at a tech disadvantage here. The micro is just more on point from RecoN, and he's getting better trades as a result of this. Still isn't going to charge in. Thinks about going now. Looking to see if BruH is going to react to this. He does peel back, and this is the difference maker. It's such a small detail, but it makes the world of difference here. RecoN is just teasing him, threatening to attack him with knights, and every time he does, BruH turns and burns with the archers and loses twice the amount that RecoN is. And that is why, at the end of this fight, even though BruH is in his own base, RecoN almost has 10 more archers on the front line. What a play! It's so smart. It's so crafty as well. No one really thinks to use knights to this extent. I feel like for a long time we've been like, oh yeah, you know, spears, they're very good. They stop a lot of heavy cavalry aggression. But look how it's evolving. Look how good people are getting at the mind games. I'm going to charge you. Oh, I'm going to overreact. Get the spears to the front line. I'm not charging you. Wait, but now my spears are out. Look, oh no, 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 no. Not only that, my archers now need to retreat when my spears pull back. Like, it's just this double-layered functionality to them. They don't need to kill anything. They just need to threaten to kill anything. RecoN has this nuclear deterrent in his composition that BruH simply does not possess, and it has made the world of difference here. The base is slowly on fire. BruH is slowly crumbling as his military is shrinking, and RecoN already had a superior economy. And you can even see it on the numbers. It's full map dominance. More troops shifting out, more on guard in the center, not even reacting to the main force yet. BruH still cannot take a favorable fight. Even with the choke points here, the choke points do not work to his advantage because he does no longer have the archer count to push that advantage. And every one of these archery ranges that gets burnt down ensures it stays that way. RecoN will back off for the moment, but I think we know what could be coming right around the corner here. Siege engineering is an option should he choose to go for it. It's not too pricey. But for now, he realizes that actually just bodying these fights is good enough. Spearman peeled back for the moment. Calming second in the fight from RecoN as he will hold ground and replenish his forces. Now understanding that he can actually outmass. In fact, you can see it when we look at the base. It's 3 archer ranges versus 3 archer ranges, but it's double stable. And it really is making the difference here. Even with double racks, there's nothing BruH can do. This is his Hail Mary. And it is an awkward time to do this in. He's going for castle. And more villagers being butchered. He peeled back too far here. And there's not enough room for all of them. Oh, no. No, this is the worst case scenario. BruH, he's gathering no more economy right now. Like, everything has been shut down. The only thing he's getting masses off is gold. Everything else is going to sink in the gathering rates. And he's in trouble. Archers are underneath the primary TC's fire. We'll have to back up for the moment. He does see this tech up underway, but RecoN, with his income per minute, he can actually clutch this and then turn it around into a tech up himself in the next minute. It's up to him, though. Does he go all in? Does he go for the rush to finish the game? Or does he cruise into castle alongside his opponent, understanding that he still has a military edge? Let's find out. Villagers across to a new wood line. This is going to be pricey as well because he needs to set up the wooded fortress. And you can see that the BruH, he has 150 wood right now. He needs more buildings soon. The racks goes down. And it's so many archery ranges, but realistically at this point, do you not want man-at-arms? Well, you can't produce them in mass if you do. And now he wraps around. Wooden fortress is going to go up in time. But the knights, they charge on in. They're going to snipe a few villages for free here. No reaction. The brace comes out too soon. BruH off the mark. Running out of places to run and hide in this one, as the eco lead is now 16 in favor of RecoN. And RecoN, he went for his second TC. This greedy son of a gun. Oh no. And BruH has no clue. There's no way he could ever know. He's been stuck in his base for what feels like an eternity now. Still just trying to get that wiggle room, that safety, but there's no safety because the knights, they pull you left and right. On a map like Dry Arabia, being forced into spearmen on the defensive does not serve you. It actually proves your detriment, right? Because you've got this huge clump of spears that have to react and force in case they get sniped out by a few archers. And then you've got these knights that can now raid 2 wood lines, a gold line at the back, and where's your food going to go? Because you're running out of food fast, BruH. More housing crisis issues in BruH's base. And RecoN, like, he could be going Rams now, but why? Why would you waste that, right? Instead, he invested the wood into scaling his economy further. This is more of a kind of traditional approach to Age of Empires 4. This is what we saw a lot of more in the early days, where someone would take a slight lead and then pivot into an economical advantage. But in this situation, like, it doesn't feel punishable it became really unpopular quickly just because good players were quick to react with their composition to be able to force some sort of counter raid. The issue that BruH has is he never made that transition. He was never able to get into Knights or Horsemen that could wrap around and now punish RecoN for extending out into all these pocket ecos. And that's the benefit that RecoN's really getting here. He's able to inflate this additional eco because he's not really transitioning farms. He has 5. BruH, in the meantime, only has 1, but he's going to need 1,000,001 in the coming minutes because he's draining his food sources too quickly. Knights riding again, BruH. Wow. RecoN showing a lot of respect here. These are still early Knights, mind you, so that might be the reasoning behind this. The tech up should be coming out soon. Looks like he hasn't even started yet. Yeah, RecoN needs to sort his gold. He actually tapped himself dry, so he's shifting to a new gold line, and that's when he should be able to actually resolve this issue. Because that's a lot of Knights to not have boosted up. 18 Knights is worth the cost of upgrading them, especially when you look and see the cost is only 175 resources. Now crossbows in the mixer. And this is kind of the issue. If RecoN's not quick on that transition, if he doesn't maybe get some sort of siege force out, he's going to be in trouble because BruH is now wheeling out the first of the Mangonels, and that is a lot of archers. Archers that haven't been upgraded by RecoN still. And it's all because of the gold issue. And it's now coming out, finally. He's getting both of them. But this delay has stunted RecoN's timing. You can see he's actually falling back a lot. He's respecting the issue that has arisen. Right, if he stands on the front line like that, with squishy units that aren't upgraded, with less health, 1 or 2 Mangonels will rip him apart. And all of a sudden, this game can just completely pivot in the other direction. RecoN. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, he's going to spot everything here. The archers are here, but the spears are not. And it looks like RecoN is actually paranoid about this. He does get the vital info about the TC, but he did not manage to take a decisive victory in that fight, despite the fact that there weren't that many crossbows in the formation. And once again, it's because RecoN, he didn't quite have the tech come through yet. He's been paranoid about this for too long, but he does need to go soon. I feel like BruH does have a breakout point approaching due to the double Mangonel, unless RecoN can address that directly. And it looks like he has gone for a siege workshop himself. But I haven't seen a single siege unit so far. So overall, it kind of feels like RecoN put this down as prep. He's looking to reach a point where he can critical mass siege. But it's going to be very delayed if he wants to hit a timing right now. Like, it's a long way to wheel units out across the field. And while this is happening, BruH could still be building more siege. We know he's not. But RecoN doesn't. He only has limited information. As you can see, he's only got 1 scout on the left side. And, uh-oh. Wrap around on the right. He's going to force the full Gary. House is being burnt down. I said it was a house in crisis. It continues to be that way for BruH. Shifting out the villagers now. He's like, no, no, no. We've got to get more resources. Ignore the Knights. We've got reinforcements coming. And now BruH, he goes for the ambitious wall-in. Also, looks like he's finally getting out for his first relic. RecoN already secured one of these. So RecoN, it should be in theory a 2-3 split towards RecoN. Yeah, it looks like he has got the second coming in. And then after this, BruH can get the safe one back here that the scout has vision on. So should be a 2-3 split. And RecoN already has the better eco, right? Like, BruH, this is a very late TC compared to your opponent. So you're already, oh my god, 33 villagers behind. 33. That is a pro player in Dota, but that is also a pro dominance right there in the eco department out of RecoN. Calming state for the moment is RecoN. I think right now he's just waiting for the pop cap. At this situation, you're so close to hitting 200, there's no reason to rush in. You might as well reach that kind of overflow point where now when you throw away troops, you're instantly replacing them. Understanding that BruH can't be there yet. And we can see very clearly by the numbers, BruH is nowhere near there. The house in crisis alone that you could have spotted out when you're raiding with the Knights should have tipped that off. Oh, and the move in with the archers. The walling BruH. Oh no, he's got so far left to go. I don't think he's going to be able to get it quick enough. Archers? They're not chasing fast enough. Meanwhile, though, the Knights are making a new entrance. He's like, bruh, you forgot to wall over here, buddy. Good quick walls, but I'm just going to make a new entrance. Bye. And now, BruH will have to get in position fast here. Mangonel's wheeling out, but the issue with this is that RecoN, he could afford to go to Spring Walls. This is the issue when you fall behind in a mirror matchup and your timings are similar. you get forced to go Mangonels because you need anti-clump. Meanwhile, RecoN's army's already big enough to just take a direct fight. So he can just go anti-siege and directly counter out your solution to getting you back in this game. Heavy hit from the first fire is good, though. Springolds. Bro, doesn't see them. But he's not wheeling them in just yet. Interesting here. He could actually insta-snipe one of these Magos. This Bruh's vision is very limited, and here it comes. Wheels in. Springolds in range. Shots come out. One goes down. That's a freebie. Second one might be opened up on the Mangonel. Actually baited into fire into the Warrior Monk. Warrior Monk goes down, but it's worth it. Sacrifices religion to overcome the siege. And now BruH is in full retreat. And he goes for a 4TC. What? No. No way. There is no way you thought this was a good idea. BruH, no. He calls GG straight away. Oh, no. That stings a little. BruH, he gets caught reaching into that cookie jar a little bit too often here, and he understands too well. When RecoN floods through with a force this big, it doesn't matter that he doesn't have the siege to take down buildings yet. He'll damn well get it in the next 2 minutes, and when he does, that's both of your extension TCs exposed. So, BruH, he waves the white flag. It was critical that he got that extension to the left. That's why he waves the white flag, by the way. The fact that RecoN boldly and brazenly ran in there after he walled it in shows just how strong RecoN is, and it means BruH can't actually rely on dragging this game out. He's running out of resources far too quickly. So when he goes for this third TC, he understands how greedy it is, but the issue is that he needs to exploit the map fast, and the only area of the map he's going to be able to exploit freely is one that he can wall in. So the fact that he doesn't keep that wall up means he hasn't got this surplus gold line, the new wood line, extendable room to go into farms if need be, and it means he can't rely on the safety of the back corner that a lot of players fall back to as the roost when they come under pressure. It just means it's all too easy for RecoN to pull him apart and take game one, but it's only game one, folks. Chill out, chill out. Whoa, what? I know what you're thinking, like, damn, I expected more out, BruH. Well, you're going to get more, because these are best of threes in the redemption arc, and you know these people are not going down without a fight. It looks like they are going to have a game on Boulder Bay, and it is going to be between the Mongols and the English. We'll get into that in just a sec. So let's see if he's got it in him as we hop into Boulderly Bay. That's what I'm calling it now. It kind of sounds like a Disney show when I call it Boulderly Bay, doesn't it? Where RecoN, he's 1 point away from proceeding that redemption arc, and BruH, I mean, he's been looking like he's got a lot of potential. Maybe not being able to tap into it, realize it, get the deepest of runs in Golden League. But I think he can fare well against the best of the best. Let's see if he can start on that by bouncing back here on Boulder Bay, where RecoN did choose the English. Something that definitely feels off meta. I mean, this is called off meta combat, and he's definitely delivering in that regard. I don't remember the last time I saw someone in a non-memeful fashion pick the English on Boulder Bay. It's been months. It has to be. Meanwhile, BruH goes for a much more solid choice here. The Mongols at the moment are looking quite feisty on this map. We've seen them dominate time and time again for a multitude of reasons. So for a start, you usually get ridiculously close stone generations, as you're seeing here, which benefits your EV play. The wood lines are pretty solid and easily protected. You're not easy to raid on land, and also you can raid your opponent on land early. Like, they don't expect it. The beauty of Boulder Bay for the Mongols is because your opponents tend to go onto the water, it does give you the wiggle room to then rush over and drop outposts in their base, basically playing to your advantage, because otherwise, if you choose to go straight into the dock like BruH did, you're sacrificing your Uvu. And the Uvu is very valuable because remember that it passively generates stones. So if you can get down right at the beginning of the game, which you can with your starting wood, it's worthwhile. However, this has been the downside for the Mongols in many a water hybrid matchup. Because they do usually go for the Uvu first, they cannot go onto the water, because they're too delayed compared to a lot of other civs. We're talking Delhi, Rus, these civs that will dominate you at the beginning of the second age. But it seems that in this situation, being up against the English, BruH is pretty confident about his stake. The galleys are strong, but they are slow and clunky, and that's where BruH can have the edge. If this turns into a naval battle on the fuel age, the light junks are one of the highest value ships in the game in Tech 2. They are phenomenal. For 120 wood and 90 gold, the damage they do, the speed they do it with, is great. They did get slightly nerfed. They were one of the civs that got affected by the change to naval combat. For those unaware, archer ships can no longer move and fire. They cannot drive by. And because the light junks are amongst the fastest ships on sea, and they are quite squishy, I'd say they were one of the biggest losers in that change. Alongside the Rus, of course. So BruH moves out, does spot what's going on. And I like that he done this because one big thing to highlight here, we just talked about how the Mongols don't go onto the water very quickly due to the Uvu importance, which BruH chose to do the other way around compared to most Mongol players. The English are kind of similar. Not that they build Uvus. I don't know how they would have arrived at that. Actually, I guess they should be able to. We do have Stonehenge. But no, not in the fact that like Uvus, it's more the case that the English have a tendency on water hybrid maps to ignore water. The logic being is that on a lot of these water hybrid maps, it's river-based. And when it's river-based, Lombos are able to just punish any fishing armada your opponent builds. Not the same here, though. Boulder Bay is one of the few exceptions available in competitive right now. Because the water density is so large, you simply can't rely on longbows to snipe out boats. You just won't be able to reach them. So instead, it makes sense that he's going to pad his own economy and boost it up, because once you do get your fishing line online, my god, the gathering rates. It's such a big increase over just relying on land. One big change to maybe think about in this map as well is there are a lot more boars now, remember? And something you may notice is there's boars that spawn very close to the base of each player. So this is something that you could use to boost your economy if you get forced off of water. I just wanted to highlight this because I love this change. I think this change was really good for Boulder Bay because there's too much oppressive nature to how water functions currently. And what this boar at least does, at least in the mid-game, is it pads your on-land eco and can make a transition away from water a little bit simpler. It can also encourage you to go harder onto land to begin with, and we've been seeing that a lot out of a lot of players, especially with the Mongols at the moment, with the Uvu into, say, a Rax and Outpost rush. But tech up from BruH is going to be as expected. Deerstone being built up. On the other side, of course, we are going to get the Council Hall. And I don't know if this is going to end anytime soon. It feels like with these kind of investments, like you think about what these landmarks can do on a map like this, I'm expecting a hard investment onto water. It's going to be fun to watch as well, because I don't remember the last time I saw someone willingly dedicate themselves to a galley on light junk engagement. In theory, the galleys are better because of the one-on-one situation, but you can't treat it like that when this unit costs so much more. It's a 360 resource unit versus a 210 resource unit. It's almost half the price, so you do have to put it on a 2-for-1 metric. And one of the issues that RecoN could have is that these galleys are not only slow and unwieldy, they cannot shoot while running away. No unit can, right? But like the issue that still exists compared to every other unit after the change that you can't fire archer ships on the go is that with the galleys, you have to turn around. Whereas a light junk, yeah, it might have to stop to shoot off, but it's going to turn a little bit quicker and get those fires out. Big shout out to Running. He's there like my little assistant analyst in the chat, isn't he? Yeah, he has highlighted a fair point, which is the galleys were bugged, doing almost no damage. That is fair. I can't remember what the base cause of that was, because the damage was meant to be high. But I remember like when you read on it, it had something weird in the tooltip that just didn't make sense in terms of the way the bursts worked. So yeah, you were doing a limited amount of damage. Remember, folks, whenever it comes to units that do have burst attacks, like the galley here, this big boy, the way it works is you can see it does 6 bursts of 10 damage. That sounds like a lot of damage. That's 60 damage. However, that does get negated by missile resistance. So if he was in a galley-on-galley fight, instead of doing 60 damage, it'd actually only be doing 30 because of the 5 missile resistance. Remember, every single one of those bursts, you have to apply the resistance to. Look at this, BruH. Wow. He builds into the outpost with Arislit's upgrade. Remember that they do a hell of a lot of damage. You can see there, 35 per shot, and that's why the galley is going to be forced to retreat. That doesn't mean that BruH doesn't seem to want to play onto the water. Instead, he's going for the land. He actually drops a stable here. Interesting choice. And it will give him the edge because RecoN won't be expecting this. He begins to pull himself in now that he's spotted out, and he has now got the racks down. So BruH, he might need a secondary transition. I don't think you rely upon the horseman alone, especially considering your Khan did get sniped out. Don't ask me how he got sniped out. I'm going to... Natural causes. It definitely wasn't that he AFK'd and got killed by a scout. That would never happen. Not out of top 100 players, okay? Because they're perfect and they never make mistakes. They're humans, guys. All of us make mistakes. And it does seem like he kind of got caught off by the scouts. Unfortunate for BruH. Would have been a good timing as well with the double horseman coming out. Just have the maneuver arrow. And he goes in straight under the gold line. Interesting choice here. But he does get his value. Only one spear out so far. And he did upgrade them to horsemen, so they sting a little bit more than those early horses, going up by an extra 2 damage and more health, 20 extra in fact. And you can see how RecoN has oppressed his opponent. The double outpost was a saving grace. BruH at least gets to keep his food eco on the water for the moment, but he has very limited resource here. Remember, the shoreline fish are only worth 500, and right now he has 6 ships draining it dry. It's already down to 200. So he will have to come out soon. And he can't go in anytime soon because you can see what RecoN's now doing. He is going to wall himself in. Full prioritization now for the English on the water. And right now, it's kind of a struggle to see how BruH recovers. He's going to have to pivot hard onto land. He needs to pad his eco. It could be that we see something like a secondary TC, but no. Instead, BruH, he goes for the standardized type of build for the Mongols. He rushes up into the castle age, understanding that RecoN, having invested into the racks, having gone on to wall this up, and also getting the double galleys, which are worth a lofty total of 720 resources, there's no way in hell that RecoN can match the tech timing of the Mongols. You see he's got so many people working on gold right now, so he's looking to zoom straight into Lancers. Should be the play here. Even has the marketplace prepped. It could be a secondary TC boom. I actually don't mind that right now. BruH's floating 500 wood, and also he can trade for the additional. Remember, the step readout gives you an additional 50% drop-off of gold, which means that you can actually use it as a pretty reliable source of insta-trade. The reason this is important is because the town center for the Mongols is a lofty 900 wood. And by going into harder to gold with a step readout, you're able to access it more quickly. Due to the fact that because you're getting 50% additional drop-off, any number of people working on gold, you have to take that number and then increase it by 1.5. So in this case, he's got 13 people. It's actually more like he's got almost 20 working on the gold line. To be specific on the maths, he's got like, what, 19? That's why I said almost 20. Before anyone goes full maths freak on me, okay? I'm aware. I mashed my head against the calculator. I done the maths. Nice snipe out there. BruH starting to actually deny division, but we can already see RecoN is keeping an eyeball on this. Oh no, the position on this though. He doesn't know. He assumes his opponent has done nothing with the Uvu. This could catch him off guard if he doesn't get in a little bit deeper and check out what's happening there. Meantime, more junks come out, and now RecoN is in trouble. This is the timing BruH was waiting for. He kept himself pinned in so well, and now he floods out with the boats after they finish the shoreline fish into the deep water fish. And with an economy that's already being boosted due to the fact he has a step readout, he's now about to boost it on sea as well. Double war junk is unanswered. RecoN is still not ready for a tech up. He's almost there now, though. But once he gets there, it's going to be a lofty 45 seconds to get the first Hulks out. Meanwhile, you're up against these war junks that shoot for 120 damage per shot, which can be quick enough to annihilate a dock if there's nothing else here to distract them. Shift in. Starts to fire upon the fishing boats. Not enough room here to protect them all. And if he just cycles around, he could actually kill this dock before the Hulk comes out. Especially considering RecoN is getting rid of the bait. He's getting rid of the cannon fodder here as he garrisons 3 of the fishing boats. BruH, he's not cycling right now. Interesting choice here. I think he's busy actually microing elsewhere. Instead, he's going to shift up sea. He's looking for the Hulks. But remember, these Hulks are quicker. You can see actually on the movement speed, 1.38 to the 1.15. And it means the first Hulks should be able to come out to defend against this. The galleys were a little bit of a bait. Now he starts to focus fire. Third war junk coming in, and it's only 2 Hulks being built right now. RecoN is not using the center dock. This could be problematic. I think RecoN missed a trick here. He couldn't pad his economy the correct way. It means he couldn't afford surplus Hulk being produced, and it means he's going to lose the docks. One goes down, second Hulk comes out. These Hulks that we've already highlighted do not do enough damage. You see, it's 120 versus the 100, so you need more than what your opponent has. The good news, at least for RecoN fans, is the galleys can function as cannon fodder here, tanking a lot of shots from the war junks, and they'll need to. Focus fire coming out now up to 4 BruH. He's just all of a sudden, in a flash, in a beat, turned up on the water and proven the dominant force, reminded us exactly why the Mongols and the Chinese can be the best of the best with this unit right here. It might have junk in the name, but it is not junk in the game. Fishing fleet, trying to keep the galley alive. War junk is being fixated upon. Not enough shots coming out onto it, though. He's actually missed micro here, targeting different ones, and he's not cycling. He's cycling only with one of the two Hulks. And that's a problem. The shift in, bro, it's just so trivial. Just clump them together, click in little circles, do the spin, and then you win. Oh my, oh my. Your boy, bro, he's getting paid time and time again. Did he even get the... I swear I saw some gold numbers there. Was that... Did he go for piracy? No way. I think he may have. I mean, in theory, it's worthwhile. For those that aren't aware of how piracy works... Oh, no, it's there. I'm just an idiot. So he could have went for piracy. It's 350, but it takes a minute. In theory, if RecoN had a wider spread on the sea, it would have been worth the investment. As you can see, you get 50 wood and gold. It must have just been the gold that ticked up from the dock. It just looked really misplaced for where it was. But he could have went for piracy. I think now he won't. I don't see RecoN getting back on the water. You can see the spread comes out. These war junks, pretty efficient. You can see in terms of pop cap, only costing 4 and completely denying the water area, giving you safe eco now on the water. RecoN with one sole galley left to his name will not be able to buffer his opponent back there. He needs to go back to the drawing board, and it's going to be a TC. So with the King's Pass, this will put him up to 3. But this is going to drain him dry quickly. Remember that RecoN has a very finite amount of resources at his disposal as he has walled himself in. He's enclosed himself in. Naturally, just giving a lot more over to BruH. And BruH, because he's now taken dominance on the water, this should be a hard transition on to land. And you can see the Lancers already starting to be produced. The annoying veteran Khan now on the front line. Spearman. Not making RecoN look very threatening right now. 4 Spearman is not exactly going to scare BruH away. RecoN, where's the military? Buddy, you're running out of time fast. This is not a good time to be layering more farms, but he has to, because he never solved this issue. He never assumed this was coming. He never expected to be forced out of the water within about 2 to 3 minutes, and it means everything is just off skew for him. He can't even gather from the deer. Oh, no. The best he can do is berries or farms, and he's going to choose farms because they're half the price for the English compared to any other civ. But this is the issue, right? Because this walling location, because he can come out further due to the fact that it was the natural choke point for the wood line, he hasn't got the deer, he hasn't got the boar, he hasn't got anything to pad his on-land economy, and it means he's vastly behind BruH. BruH, you can see he's just not rushing in right now. Amassing more Lancers, building onto a new Uvu. Ramping up into maximum aggression, understanding that RecoN cannot simply have the answer to this right now. Considering the size of his economy, what he's potentially done, he's either gone for multi-TCs or maybe he has just enough spears, but he would have shown something by now. He would have maybe shown lombos and spears at the walls. The fact that he didn't informs everything to BruH. Tells him everything he needs to know. He rides in. Sprint upgrades coming out, trying to delay this for RecoN. But the Lancers are so damn tanky. Needs to respect the damage, however. Remember, these Springwood upgrades do 60 per shot, so even on a 230 health unit, it does add up quickly. But so does the count for BruH. Remember that he was extracting Uvu for a long time, but he wasn't building that many units. So he's very quickly just reaching up to this critical mass of Lancers that can flood in. And with the maneuver arrow, they'll be able to do so unhindered. Especially considering that RecoN has 0 military. This is not the way. This TC is fully exposed, actually. This many Lancers, in theory, could kill it off. It could be repaired, though, right? That's why he's not rushing in. Instead, I think he's still waiting on that villager. Okay. They were on a very long extended coffee break. They're on their way now. With the double racks into the improved siege engineering, he could easily just shift into Mangonels and end this game. Trebs is also an option here. You've just got so much bang for buck on your screen. You see all these TCs, and oh, he sees everything. RecoN, wood lines are going to be shut down. Has to shift away. Not enough spears here to deter BruH. And BruH understands, even if he loses a few of these Lancers, just shutting down that much of RecoN's eco, putting half of it on idle is good enough. There we go. Double racks. Should just be Spearmen. Like, he could go man-at-arms, but realistically, you don't even need them. You just want to get Siege out as quickly as possible. And yeah, we can see now BruH also building the Siege Workshop. And this is going to layer him nicely, because if you look at his economy, he's floating a lot of gold. He could very easily transition to Imperial Age without much threat right now. RecoN doesn't have a way of punishing his opponent for being that greedy, because he's been far more greedy with his third TC. RecoN. Are we really that scared of a naval invasion here? He actually has to be careful. The War Junk, could it insta-kill? No, it wouldn't be as good as 500. But it could kill a lot of villagers before he even completes this. And he should see it. Yep, there it is. Gets eyeballs on it now. So if he just wheels across and focus fires, I feel like he could kill the villager force before they complete the keep. Looks like it's going to be a little bit too late, though, so won't be able to stop him. RecoN, the question is, can you afford to go back on water from here? I feel like you are stretching yourself way too thin if you now invest in a dock. This already feels like an overinvestment. Like, this keep, would it have been better serviced at the front of your base? Maybe for a few minutes. But maybe this was the bigger concern. Maybe RecoN was thinking, hey, he's going to build Trebs anyway. So I just need to get back on C and deny him equity there. And here it is. Double dock drop. And those drops might drop. Ooh, keep fire's just too strong, though. Remember, all those shots get bonus damage. That's why it just got peppered down so quickly. But bruh, he doesn't care. He understands what his win condition is now, and it's no longer the C. He will be annoyed if he loses all this trade, because that's what's been boosting him so far to ridiculous numbers. But it's going to take such an investment from RecoN that should he choose to invest in hulks, demo ships, whatever it may be on the water, he's not going to be strong enough on land to hold what's coming. That's the beauty of the play here. I just love the way that BruH's done this. Like, it's just the confidence. Like, in theory, these War Junks aren't even needed. Because RecoN is still in recovery mode. He has been for the last few minutes, and it's going to be that way for maybe the next 10. If he even gets that far, because the Trebs are now here. Those annoying outposts will not last long. After that, you know he's going to flood in. Mangonel's also being prepped. Everything being built up by BruH. And the repairs feel like they're a little bit delayed here. 2 traction trebuchets. Make that 3 is too problematic. And now BruH moving forward with the outposts. It's the shuffle in. The Yam's going to be there for all the infantry to charge forward. And more importantly, it's a safe padding point. With Springwood upgrades, there's going to be no assault easily done for RecoN. Especially considering he's still reliant on slow-moving static infantry. Lancers give their lives away to give a little bit of vision over. A little bit of a whoopsie-daisy there. BruH thought maybe get a few free targets. Mangonel shots. They're getting free targets now. RecoN, he has to go, though. Big mistake. Hurls some boulders his way, and instantly RecoN in full retreat. But where do you run and hide here? You're being chased down. The Yam movement speed is there. Man-at-Arms able to gap close. And RecoN looks all but done with this game. This force is too big. The traction Trebs move towards the TCs now. Infrastructure is simply not there. And RecoN's heart is no longer there. It's been smashed into a million pieces. BruH is looking far too dominant here in Boulder Bay. And I think we might need a third game to decide who is being booted out of off-meta combat.